Hi, you're listening to The Island of a Lost Pilot by Rajesh Bhatia, narrated by Deepak Agnihotri. Chapter 28, Mr. Walker. The plane took off at 12:30 p.m. The helicopter carrying Shekhar and the colonel was right behind. Ming had slowed down his speed to 120 knots to match with the helicopter. The plane and the helicopter both landed one by one at Sekkong airfield at about 1:45 p.m. Rohan and Ryan were detained at the airport. It was a peculiar case. The authorities knew that these young men were genuine, and in fact, they wanted to help them. But to allow them to move out of the airport without any passport at all was not becoming possible. It was who will bell the cat situation. After the pursuit of the colonel, the chief of police prepared some documents on which the colonel and Ming were made guarantors for these boys. And only then they could move out. The whole exercise took 1.5 hours. After many repeated humble requests from Ming, they agreed to become his guests. "How much are you going to charge for these extra men?" Shekhar asked, suppressing his smile. "Mr. Shekhar, you embarrass me. Earlier you were my clients, but now..." "And now?" prompted Shekhar smilingly. "And now I see you as my reformer. You have shown me how to win hearts of others. You have won heart of Ryan, of the colonel, of Ryan's grandfather, and above all, my heart. In your company, I have felt an inner peace. You are great, Shekhar sir. I bow to you." Ming bowed very low and Shekhar embraced him. Shekhar switched on his mobile phone at about 3 p.m. at Ming's house and soon messages started pouring in. "Oh my God!" exclaimed Shekhar. "Anything strange?" asked Colonel. "That desperate grandfather." "Mr. Walker?" "Yes. You will be surprised to know that I have a message telling me that he had called me about 17 times. Besides this, he had sent 4 SMSs asking me to call him back as soon as I switch on this phone." "Don't let him wait any longer. Give him a call immediately," suggested the colonel. "Where were you, Mr. Shekhar? I had been impatiently calling you," said an excited Oliver Walker. "Sorry, Mr. Walker. I had some trouble taking Ryan out of the airport building." "Oh, that. I had never thought about it. I'm sorry for my rudeness," said Mr. Walker politely. "It is all right, Mr. Walker. You reached here too fast. And where are you?" "Well, I keep my planes always ready for any type of emergency, and this was the most urgent piece of work for me in my life. I started yesterday at 8 p.m. Hong Kong time and reached Brunei at 3:30 a.m. after covering a distance of 3,100 nautical miles. I got the plane refueled and again started for Hong Kong at 6:30 a.m. and reached here at 10 after covering 1,350 nautical miles. If the plane didn't need refueling, I would have reached much earlier. At present, I'm at Hotel Mandarin Oriental at Victoria Harbour." "You want me to come there or..." "Where are you now?" "We are at Sekkong with a friend Ming." "Why don't you join me, all of you?" "Well," hesitated Shekhar. "I will book rooms for all of you here in this hotel. How many persons you are?" "But, Mr. Walker, we don't..." "Don't worry about the bills, Mr. Shekhar. I know why you are hesitating. Just accompany me as my guests here." As Mr. Walker was a very successful businessman, his manner radiated energy and command. Shekhar could not say no. He said, "We are 5 people." He had counted Ming also. For him, Ming was also important, as he had agreed to take him on this crazy search expedition that lasted for so many days, and ultimately they got the success. Mr. Walker was pacing impatiently in the corridor when they arrived at the 14th floor of the hotel. He was a tall man of about 73 years of age, straight as a ramrod. He had the same blue eyes and face features like Ryan. When Shekhar introduced himself, Colonel and Ming, Mr. Walker held his hand in a steely grip, looking behind Shekhar's shoulder, and asked, "And where is Ryan?" "Oh, Ryan was scared of the lift. He got down at the 6th floor and is coming by stairs with my son Rohan." "Very strange," remarked Mr. Walker. "I remember he was scared of lifts at that time also." His mind wandered to a boy who was running away from a lift. Lucy, the secretary, a beautiful woman of 45, also came forward to meet Shekhar and others. "I'm sorry for my conduct on yesterday, Mr. Shekhar, but you know what my job is," she said apologetically but without a trace of smile. "I understand, Miss Lucy," replied Shekhar. Rohan and Ryan reached the 14th floor and turned abruptly inside the corridor to face Mr. Walker looking directly at them. "Here they come," said Shekhar, held Ryan by his arm and brought him to face Mr. Walker. "Ryan, this is your granddad." Ryan looked questioningly at him.
"Ryan, my Ryan, exactly like Andrew, no doubt about it. It can't be other than you."
Mr. Walker was dancing with joy. He hugged Ryan and kissed him on cheeks and on forehead again and again. He kissed his hands and said,
"You had those little hands, but see, now they are so big. You have grown so big."
He turned towards his secretary and said to her,
"He looks exactly like Andrew, only a few inches taller and stronger. Isn't it, Lucy?"
"Yes, sir. I do remember Mr. Andrew. He should be none other than our Ryan." Ryan felt uneasy at the hugging and kissing of Mr. Walker. He tried to push him away and looked helplessly at Shekhar. Shekhar understood his objection. He took out a small notebook from his pocket and immediately sketched 3 simple human figures on one page. One figure was the smallest, second one was slightly taller, and the third one was the tallest. He showed the notebook to Ryan and pointed at the smallest figure and said, "This is Ryan." He pointed at the second figure, which was taller, and said, "Ryan, Dad." Ryan nodded. He put a finger on the third and the tallest figure and said, "Ryan, Dad's dad." He repeated 2-3 times, and now Ryan understood what he wanted to convey. Ryan looked at Mr. Walker, who was crying and wiping his wet cheeks, went to him and said, "Granddad." Mr. Walker resumed his hugging and kissing, and now Ryan didn't object.
"Oh God, you are great. Now I know that you exist. You saved my son. You saved my grandson. I have no regrets in my life. I have to make no complaints to you."
Mr. Walker was crying and looking upwards, as if talking directly to God. He turned towards Shekhar, held his hands, kissed them, and said, "Mr. Shekhar, I have seen God in you. You have been a God himself, appeared on this earth. How will I ever be able to repay your debt?" "Oh, this is nothing, Mr. Walker. My son was in trouble and needed me. Therefore I went to that island. Ryan was savage and he was about to kill us both. But he was also the son of someone and had suffered a lot on that island. Hence, it was my duty to save him also from that island. Besides me, Mr. Ming here, who is a pilot, helped me to find that island, and Colonel Zayo helped me to come out of that island. Their contribution can't be ignored."
"Very humble and very modest indeed,"
admired Mr. Walker. All were sitting in the comfortable suite. A panoramic view of the Victoria Harbour was visible from the window. Boats and yachts of all sizes and colors were moored and moving around lazily in the busy area. The skyscrapers were silhouetted in the background and looked like ghosts watching the happenings silently. Mr. Walker was reading the diary aloud with tears on his cheeks, his voice trembling with emotions. He could not read more about the pain and sufferings of his injured son and started crying. He gave the diary to Lucy, who started reading it from the place Mr. Walker had left. She also cried several times while reading the whole content. Shekhar and Rohan were imagining the happenings of the island sadly. Even the tough colonel and the merciless Ming were seen wiping their tears. Shekhar got up, poured water in some glasses and gave one to Mr. Walker, who drank in between sobs and cries, while Lucy, Ming and Colonel refused. Mr. Walker controlled himself and said, "I am sorry, friends, for my weakness. You see, my son suffered because he was injured, sick and weak.
and he had to die because of unavailability of medical facility. His sufferings ended when he died, but Ryan had to suffer for 18 years long. Thank you all who had brought Ryan here."
Mr. Walker asked Lucy to bring Ryan's bag, and she immediately obeyed. Mr. Walker gladly took out a few new clothes, shoes and slippers and handed them to Ryan to wear immediately. Rohan accompanied Ryan to the large bathroom and helped him wear the dress. As usual, Ryan looked dashing in this dress also, because of his physique and personality. Drinks were served with snacks. Colonel took a drink gracefully, while Ming appeared to have pounced upon one greedily. Shekhar and Ryan denied. Instead, they took Coke cans. Rohan accepted a drink, took a sip, smelled the liquid, twisted his nose, made a face and handed it back. He looked at Shekhar and asked for a Coke can. Mr. Walker smiled and said,
"Mr. Shekhar, you seem to have created magic on Ryan. How you did it?"
"It is only the language of love, Mr. Walker." Mr. Walker was very much pleased. He took a small sip, looked at Shekhar, Colonel and Ming and said,
"I want to go to that island. How that can be made possible?"
"Well, that place can be reached by an aircraft, but you can't land there. If you want, you can go down using a parachute, as I did," replied Shekhar promptly.
"I don't want to visit the place from the window of an aeroplane. I want to actually put a foot on that place and see the grave of my son. I want to see the island where my son spent a few days before his death, and my grandson spent 18 miserable years of his life."
Mr. Walker sighed and continued,
"But I am an old man and can't jump with a parachute. For the sake of my son, even if I take the risk of using a parachute, how I will be coming back from that place?" "You may go to Pratus Island, and then Colonel can take you to that island on a helicopter." Shekhar looked at the Colonel and said, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that. Mr. Shekhar, your case was different. That was a rescue operation, and I have made the report accordingly. I don't think that my superiors will like it if I will let you use the army helicopter for this purpose." "We can hire one helicopter then. We can take a helicopter that will easily land there. We will spend 1 or 2 hours there and come back by that helicopter."
Mr. Walker declared happily and looked at all of them in the manner of a genius, smiling at them, reminding them that how fool they were not to think of this solution. "There is no helicopter easily available which has the range of 620 into 2, 1,240 kilometers. No, sir, it is not possible. I doubt if we have such a helicopter in whole Hong Kong, which is for rent." Ming cleared the doubt.
"Then what do we do? How we are going to reach there?"
Mr. Walker seemed worried. Darkness had set in. Behind Mr. Walker, the Victoria Bay could be seen illuminated with all type of colorful lights. The buildings behind looked beautiful. The neon signs simply fantastic. Even the yachts and the boats were wonderfully lighted. The reflection of the lights was dancing with the waves and looked fabulous. If one sat in the window, he could easily look at the view for hours altogether. "We may go there by a fast yacht," was Ming's idea. "That seems fine, but will take a lot of time," said Shekhar. "The distance is about 620 kilometers or 335 nautical miles. If a fast yacht does about 20 knots, it will reach there in about 17 hours, Ming replied quickly. Mr. Walker was thoughtful. The thought of traveling in a small yacht in the open sea was too much for a man of his age.
"I may look fit, but the fact is that it would be very tiresome for me to travel in a boat for 17 hours and come back the same way," said he.
"Mr. Walker, I think you can hire a luxury yacht, which is large in size and has all the comforts on it. You can sleep and have plenty of rest on it," Shekhar suggested.
"I can surely find one of that type. In fact, I do have a luxury yacht myself, but that is now moored in Australia, and it is thus far beyond our reach. To bring that yacht here will be too much loss of valuable time, replied Mr. Walker.
Ming was consulting some maps and said after making some mental calculations, "There is one more way." Everybody looked at Ming for an answer. "We can reach this island from the other side by using a helicopter." "Which other side?" asked Colonel. "With other side, I mean from the eastern side. You see, Iba Airport at Philippines is 400 kilometers, or 216 nautical miles from that island. If we can hire one Eurocopter Dolphin or equivalent helicopter, we can successfully complete the trip. That helicopter has a range of more than 900 kilometers, or 486 nautical miles, and thus will have sufficient fuel for to and fro journey." That was a genius answer from Ming. "Won't that trip be too hectic? Please give the whole route and the time required," Shekhar asked. "Go to Manila, 1,580 kilometers or 853 nautical miles, 2 to 2.5 hours. Take the helicopter, go to Iba, 1 hour. Top up the fuel, go to the island, about 2 hours. Stay at the island for 1 to 1.5 hours and return the same way. If everything goes well, we may return in 16 to 17 hours, including 3 to 4 hours spent at the airport for the changeovers."
I think a luxury yacht will be far more comfortable. Too much of running and changing of aircrafts in different countries will need a lot of paperwork and time. Also, everything depends upon the availability of the helicopter.
Mr. Walker finalized and said to Ming,
Mr. Ming, if you don't mind, I request you to take the charge of arranging a yacht tomorrow. We would like to move in the evening so that we will reach there sometime in the afternoon the next day. We can thus take some rest at night on the yacht. The yacht should be the best and accommodate minimum 7 people. Also inquire about the possibility of the helicopter.
"It will be done tomorrow, as early as possible," Ming promised. "And do try for an amphibian aircraft also," remarked Shekhar. The thought of an amphibious plane had not occurred to Ming's mind. Embarrassed, he simply nodded his head. "I too would have loved to go there, but I'm sorry I won't be able to accompany you, as I'm on an official duty tomorrow," Colonel announced.
"But you will stay here tonight. Your suite is booked, and I would suggest you to return here when your work is finished," Mr. Walker pressed.
"I will surely come." All of them proceeded to the restaurant. A live orchestra was playing a song they could make neither head nor tail of which. They had their dinner leisurely under subdued lights and exotic music. After dinner, they went to their respective suites. Shekhar and Rohan had the adjoining rooms with that of Mr. Walker. Ryan stayed with Mr. Walker for some time but returned to Shekhar and Rohan. "He will take some time to adjust with Mr. Walker," muttered Shekhar and rang for an extra bed. Colonel was given a suite next to that of Shekhar, and Ming joined him as the Colonel didn't object. The secretary went to her room 2 floors below, where pilots and other staff of Walker Group of companies had stayed in luxury bedrooms booked in a row. Shekhar was trying to sleep, thinking about today's happenings. He was happy for Ryan, as he was about to reach his real home. He was very happy for Mr. Walker, as he has found his grandson, and this will help him immensely to forget about the loss of his son. The mobile rang. Mr. D. Singh had called, who apologized for calling so late and informed that after getting the custody of Rohan's passport and baggage, he had called PDEA, and a group of PDEA officials with selected and reliable Philippines police officials are coming to Hong Kong tomorrow to have a meeting with him and Rohan. "You are also coming here?" asked Shekhar. "I will have to be there. See, your contribution will help to increase the bonding between these two countries, India and Philippines." "Okay, bring them here at Mandarin Oriental." "No, for security reasons, the meeting will take place at Consulate General of India, Unit A, 95 Queensway, Admiralty, Hong Kong. The tentative time is 11 a.m. I will let you know if any change is there."